Hi, this is Vamsi.
This is Mercy.
Welcome to the Collective Podcast. And we are the coaches and founders of the NAV Collective. Do you want to explain why we are called the NAV Collective?
I think it is pretty self-explanatory. I think the now is because most of us as human beings, we either live in the past or in the future. We either live in our memories or in our imagination,
Right.
which are both fine. But in the process, we lose out on living in the present moment or engaging completely in the present moment, which is always the source of real joy and contentment in life.
Yeah.
If you can focus on the now, I think most of what we perceive as problems will be sorted out.
Absolutely.
Or what humanity perceives as problems. If you can just focus on the now moment.
That's right.
Which is also the eternal moment, as we call it. So that's the now. And the term collective, I feel like while one man can change the world and has all the potential to do that, there is more power in a group or in the collective.
Yeah.
Studies have shown that if 10 people come together with a single intention, they tend to change the area that they live in, the vibes and the frequencies and the situations in an area that they live in. That is the power of the collective. So if people can come together, not become clones of each other, but in their individuality, come together and work together and intend together, for a bigger picture, things can easily change. So that is why we are called the Now Collective.
Yeah, fantastic. And we are calling this the Collective Podcast because down the line, we want to have people, we want to have stories, we want to have experiences of different people who can come here and share their inspirational stories with all of us, and the reason behind why this is called collective is so that a lot of us coming together and doing something that will help each other. So that's the idea why we're going to be called as a Collective Podcast.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Why do we do this? Why are we trying to change the community? What is wrong with the community, or what is wrong with this world per se? If you look at it, there is a lot of suffering. There is a lot of pain. And everybody wants change. Is there anybody that doesn't want change?
Yeah,
No.
that's true. Yeah.
Everybody wants change, but we
Everyone
forget.
wants better.
Exactly. But we often forget that we need to be the change. Okay? And the idea behind why we are doing what we are doing is so that to promote that change. Okay? So a little bit background about who we are. Mercy and I have been married now for 17 years.
Yes.
We've just celebrated our 17th anniversary. Right. And we realized about a decade ago that whether it is our truth, whether it is the word, what we carry, and we just started to meet people and they started to share their problems with us. Okay. And as we started helping them out with what we know to be the truth, we actually started seeing real transformation.
Yes, yeah. In all our lives.
In all our lives, of course, right? These stories really took us to a place, and when we started seeing these transformations, we were like, wow, if all of us, or a majority of us, or even a minority of us at this point, can come to this place and make an attempt at transforming, make an attempt at becoming something more than what we are, right? I think there is true potential for this world to become a better place.
Yeah.
Right?
I think all of us have seeds of greatness in us. And when I say greatness, I don't think I necessarily mean success or fame as it's often understood, but seeds of being our true potential, becoming our true potential. And for that to happen, sometimes we do need motivation externally, sometimes. But the whole idea of what we do is to ensure that motivation for who we are, what we are to become, and to explore our fullest potential, that motivation comes from within us. The desire, the passion to change comes from within us. So most of what we do centers on bringing that out of each other and out of those that hope to find that in us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're probably thinking, why should I change? Why is change important? It's not. Okay. If you think right now that you're happy being yourself
Yes.
and you're completely content at who I am, what I am, I don't think there is any need for you to change. But if you're not happy, all right, you're having these constant ups and downs, or you think that your happiness is not about you anymore, but something else or someone else externally,
Or there is a deep restlessness within you.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
then you changing will help you, okay, and eventually will help the people around you, and thereby, at large, the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately what we are striving for is peace, no?
Yeah.
Amongst men
Yes.
and women, amongst humankind.
Yeah.
But the idea is peace because we tend to feel that we're all a very disturbed bunch of species.
That's right.
Each out with their own agenda, which is fine. I think all of us should have our own purpose in life. But in the process, I think we cause a lot of damage to each other. We put each other down, and that's just the beginning. We go to any lengths to get what we want. And on the whole, I think that is not just destroying us as a species, but also other creatures that are dependent on us.
100%.
As top of the pyramid species that we are. And also the fact that in the long run, we do feel that even things like nature, calamities, how the earth is or will be affected by the choices we make as humans. And if we can be at peace
Yeah.
and be content and also serve each other the best way that we can, maybe the world will be a different place than what, say, the news predicts it to be,
Absolutely.
or how doomsday predictions turn out to be. Maybe we can change that.
That's true.
The whole thing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you really think about it, we as people are not necessarily evil. All right.
Yeah.
We actually have the potential to be changed, to be great, and to be kind.
Yes.
Okay. But something about the way we grow up, something about the way the system is set around us.
And generational issues.
Yes, and generational issues for sure. We end up in a place where we think that we are on our own
And
we need to make it on our own.
Yeah.
And sometimes trusting another becomes an issue.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And thereby the system actually separates and alienates people
Yes.
rather than bring them together.
Bring them together.
Okay.
And that is another reason why the term collective,
Yes.
which we had forgotten to mention before, because the whole system thrives on separation,
Yeah.
division. If we all come together, it might be a challenge to those that actually run the world, so to speak, the ones with the money and the ones with the power. But if we can come together, I think everything that we know of today, starting from, let's say, the medical system, the educational system, the political system, I think all of that can change if the people unite. Again, I want to stress, when I say unite, I don't mean that we have the same mindsets or become clones of each other, but that we come together with the purpose of helping ourselves and helping another to be better people, without any selfish agendas in the picture, or at least not too many selfish agendas in the picture. If we can just push ourselves a little bit to consider the other, the world will be different. And that is why the collective as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you were talking about coming together, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is a need right now more than ever for all of us to come together and unite, okay, with our differences.
Yeah.
At any given point of time, you look at any system, it tells you that you need to become like me. You're coming into my place, you're coming into my system, you need to listen to me,
Yeah.
you need to become like me. And that is grossly underestimating what we are as human beings. Okay. So we are, 8 billion plus people on the planet, and we have 8 billion plus genetic codes on different DNAs. Okay. And the DNA is determined generationally. Like, you could go back to, Adam or whoever, right? And from there, all that we are today is a collection of all those things. Okay. And it's very important to understand that and give each other freedom. All right. So there is something that is grossly misunderstood in this world, which is
Freedom.
freedom.
Yeah.
Okay. Freedom doesn't mean that
You can
we
do anything
do
you
whatever
want.
we want.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not true freedom. True freedom is feeling free within yourself. Okay. And true, that looks like,
Not being bound by mindsets, beliefs, fears.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the fact that I need to be something or I need to do something to feel free.
Yes.
Okay.
Or to be worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there is a place within us. And we've seen this time and time again where when the word comes, when the truth comes, it sets you free.
Right.
Okay. Truth comes to set you free. And how that looks like is I am okay. I am good enough. I am perfect. Okay. And from that place, you get this need to be yourself. Okay. And thereby just making sure that you are completely okay without anything external, without another person.
Yeah. And I think that stems from what you originally said, which is we are innately good.
Yeah.
Okay. And we tend to believe that we are not because of what we have been taught. And again, like you said, the genetic patterns.
Yeah.
But assuming we start off with the belief that, hey, I'm okay and I'm worth it,
Yeah.
then we tend to manifest that.
Yes.
So the more we tend to believe that, the more we tend to manifest that. And in the process, we also make sure that we change what is around us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
And therefore, freedom, speaking of.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if
Exactly.
you're free enough, you know that you're not bound by all your fears and your feelings of insecurity or unworthiness. You're not bound by any of that.
Yeah.
And therefore, you are just almost walking in total love. Can I
Absolutely.
say the
Yeah.
word
Yeah.
love? Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I think that is a word there. If
Exactly.
you're walking in total freedom, you don't have any conditions for anybody around. You are walking in love. Yeah. And that can change everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as time goes by, we can talk a lot about freedom. We can talk a lot about
It
love.
is one of our values,
Yeah.
something that both of
Yeah.
us stand by. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you need to really understand today that if you are free, if you feel free by yourself, as a kind of in a self-sufficient way, you really don't need anything from outside, anyone else to come and tell you how you should be or who you should
Or
be.
to satisfy you.
Yeah, how to even be happy or satisfied. When that happens is when you can become a force that is transformative,
Yeah.
not just within, but also around. And what we are hoping to do through this podcast is facilitate that freedom, talk about the truth, talk about the word, talk about things that we believe will set you free.
Or even topics that interest us or
Yeah.
you for that matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, freedom, right? And why do we need to feel free? What is the purpose of feeling free? Now, if you look at it, freedom essentially looks like feeling free, letting another be free. Okay.
Yeah.
And that, in an essence, is love, right? We talk about love. Love is the most used word in this world right now. You know, I love my dog. I love my aunt. I love my mother-in-law, whatever. But real love for me, I have this word that comes to my head when I think of love. That's agape. And I would like to define it by saying unconditional love. Okay. And that means literally, as the word is self-explanatory by itself, it is no conditions. That means I look at you and I love her unconditionally. That means she need not be something, she need not do something or anything at all for me to love her.
Yes.
Okay. And that is something, it's not just a theory or a concept for us, it's an experience. And
Yeah. And I think we also need to establish the fact that when we say live and let live, it doesn't necessarily mean you can do anything you want. You
Exactly.
understand, right?
Absolutely.
You can't harm yourself. You can't harm me. It's not fair.
Yeah.
So unconditional love doesn't mean, oh, you get to do whatever you want and I'm going to just love you through that.
Absolutely.
Because that, like we just said, love is based in freedom. And true freedom is knowing where self-control comes in.
100%.
True freedom is knowing where I have to draw the line.
Absolutely.
So much of love is absolutely about knowing what the other person is.
Yeah.
and wants to be,
Absolutely.
and giving them the space to express that and manifest that
Absolutely.
in safety.
I know.
You
I know.
understand?
Because even the words like line and boundaries, which are
Can be perceived negatively.
can
if you
be
don't
perceived
implement it.
negatively. But like what we're talking about, if you say unconditional love, if a line is set for you or if a boundary is set for you, if you're really in love unconditionally, it wouldn't bother you.
Yes.
You know?
And you'll know that it'll anyway work out because
Absolutely.
love is the force there, the vibration
Absolutely.
that will change things.
Absolutely.
There. Yeah.
And, Mercy and I, we are very headstrong.
Yeah.
All right. People have called us mule-headed. All right. And we started out the first year fighting. Okay. And people used to just get up and go because Mercy and Mumsy are sitting in a table and started arguing about evolution and God or whatnot. All right. And but then as we understood each other, as we started our relationship, we based it purely on this unconditional love. And today, after 20 years of being together, I can tell you why our relationship is effective is because every given point when there is a difference, when there is a challenge, when there is a fight, we chose love. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we are here.
Yes.
Right.
And
we
it's
are
not
doing
just
this.
about marriage.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think every relationship
Which is what I was going to say next.
super.
Yeah. Go for
ahead.
it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So that's not just for a man and a woman. That's not just for this relationship called marriage. It should be about everybody. It should be about relationship with your brother, with your sister, with your parents, with your in-laws, with your friends. And ultimately from there, because it's easy to love someone who you're close to, right? It's not easy to somebody who's just walking on the road because you're not related, you're not connected. A real love has no boundaries in a different way. Okay. And we talked about boundaries, but
Real love has no expectations.
Expectations,
I think
yeah.
that's better.
That's the right word.
Yeah.
Real love has no expectations. So it only if this love is established, there is true potential for all of us to be the very thing this planet and this.
And I know what we're talking about
need.
could sound like an ideal, but it is achievable. And none of us are there yet, for sure. But like we just said, anytime an issue happens, not just between people, but even in life, in a circumstance, an issue happens. If I can choose love, that is how we grow at every given point. Yes, I might fail today. I might fail tomorrow. I might fail for the next 100 days. But if we continue to keep choosing the higher me or the higher him, there is a higher self within us that is so much more capable than we can think or dream of. But we can't get there overnight because there's too much to unlearn and build again. But if we can make that choice every single time the situation presents itself.
That's right.
Even if you fail, it's okay. But eventually you will find yourself transforming. And this we can vouch after, this many years of living because nothing happened overnight. It was a choice made again and again and again. But we can assure you we are not the same people we were 20 years ago. So when we see ourselves, so when we see ourselves, it gives us hope. When we see our son or our families or our friends, it gives us hope.
Our community.
Our community, yes. Knowing that things can change for the better and that if we come together as a collective, so much more can happen.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is what we're setting out to do with these podcasts as well. And we are hoping to see more of you in the episodes to come.
Join us next time as we talk about freedom. Freedom, like I said, is the most important thing, and we need to all understand that. So do join us.